Welcome everybody to History Lessons. I'm your host, the journalist Sin-seer, and tonight we have a very special guest from the legendary group Timex Social Club, Marcus Thompson. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
No doubt. We want to take it all the way back to the early beginnings and what you currently have going on in 2025. But for those who may not know, can you take us back to where you were born and raised?
Wow, born and raised, Oakland, California. Uh, Back in the day, man. Yeah, yeah, back in the '60s. So,
No doubt.
yeah,
Take us
yeah.
back to teenage years in
Bay
Oakland.
Area, Bay Area, Bay Area. So San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, that whole area, man. Warriors, A's, Raiders, 49ers. Yeah.
Take us back to teenage years in that area.
Oh man, teenage years. Well, like I said, coming up in Oakland, going to schools in Oakland. Um, then, that was West Oakland, actually. So, as cities are large cities, they're split up into, you know, east, west, north. Our case, we didn't have a south. So, uh, yeah, I was West Oakland. So, growing up there, going to schools, and basically mom's pulled the plug. She didn't want me going to the bad school where all the bad kids was. So we moved to another city called Berkeley, where all the hippies hang out.
Right.
Uh, so she got me out of the quote unquote ghetto of West Oakland. Not to me like it was a ghetto, but you know, yeah,
Right.
that's what people refer to it as. So yeah.
Did
So anyway, started going to school out there. That was basically junior high and then high school. Yeah, in Berkeley. hmm
did you come from a musical family?
No, no, I did not. I found music at the age of 14. Uh, it was something I kind of just fell in love with. And when I say music, I mean music on the radio. You know, I wasn't a trumpet player or a guitar player or drummer or anything like that. So I just love music and the way it made me feel. Um, got into dancing, a little showing out at the high school. Um, at the dances, trying to dance with the females and everything. So that motivated your boy. And what else? Next came DJing, man. I started having a love for trying to DJ or being interested in DJing, whether that was going to be on the radio as a disc jockey on a radio station spinning, or mobile DJ in the area that was able to um, throw parties for the kids and make money that way. So I kind of knew that some way I'd be involved in or what they call, when I was going to college, communications. You had to have a degree in communications to get a job at a radio station.
Right.
So I knew that that was my path. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I had a passion for it. So,
Right.
so yeah.
Talk a little bit about, you say at the age of 14, falling in love with the music. What radio stations were around at that time, and who were some of your musical influences?
Wow. Well, Bay Area, you have so many stations. There was definitely KDIA, KSOL, KRE, for people that maybe remember that one. Um, yeah, those were the ones in the Bay Area that was like playing R&B, And yeah, right on the introduction to rap music. So R&B, disco, and then rap. And with R&B, you have the funk. So I was heavily into Parliament Funkadelic at that time. Bootsy's Rubber Band, all that, man. I like to tell people I went to Funk University. So I had all those albums, and I was trying to go to the Oakland Coliseum to see George Clinton and Q Funk All Stars and everybody throw it down. So yeah. But those are the most popular three radio stations: KRE, KSOL, and KDIA that I listen to.
Right. Before
Yeah.
getting into DJing, was there some DJs that you were admiring at the time? Maybe a mentor that helped you get into DJing?
Most definitely.
Who were the early
Yeah.
Oakland DJs?
Well, so you had two crews. You had two sides of the bay. You had the San Francisco side of the bay, and you had our side, which we call it the East Bay. That's Oakland, Berkeley, El Cerrito, Richmond. Yeah. So on the East Bay side, I'll start on the Frisco side or San Francisco side, if you will. There was this brother named Dr. Funk. I used to hear all the time. Dr. Funk, man, Dr. Funk. You should have been at the Dr. Funk party. I could never catch this cat. One, I was too young. I was like 13 when I started hearing about this dude, 14. And moms wasn't gonna let me slip out to go do none of that. So as I progressed in high school, I heard about the crews that were out of my area, and some were out of my high school. So I was just lucky enough to be basically running a mixtape service for students. I would you give me a blank cassette and I go home and put your favorite joints on it and give it back to you the next day or 2 days later, and you give me $6 or whatever. That was my little hustle. So it was nothing to me. I stay up all night and take the records off the radio, or I would, if I had them, I would record them to the cassette for the people. So I was making those kind of pause button mixtapes. But I had a mutual friend and customer at the time. His name was Anton King, rest in peace. And he introduced me to my DJ mentor, who also became a member of my group, Mr. Alex Hill. So I joined Alex. He had a crew called the Control Crew at the time, along with his partner, David Room. And they would rent out these veterans halls and different kind of halls in the Bay Area and throw their parties. Now it was big, so they had the radio ads running, and they had the flyers they was giving out at each high school. So they was making what we call bank back then. It was making bank. So I was just happy to be around. I was kind of like a roadie, and I brought some friends of mine on too. Told them that they could get down. So we kind of just, tagged along with them and became friendly with them and learned the mobile DJing from them. So yeah, that was my mentor, DJ Alex Hill, or what was it? The Pill. Yeah, Pill Hill. Yeah.
What was some of your earlier equipment as you're progressing, becoming a DJ? What was some of the early equipment that you obtained?
Oh man, I was so broke. I didn't have nothing matching. So I think at the time I had a Marantz direct drives turntable or something, and I had a little receiver and some speakers I had picked up. But Alex had the techniques. He had the real stuff. You know what I'm saying? He had the techniques, and he had the Newmark mixer, and he had the Sony or AKG headphone. I mean, he was a few years older than us, so he had took some of this money that they had made at these parties and parlayed it, if you will, and got him some real equipment. The amps were big time. The speakers were big time. So yeah, they was actually rocking. Now my setup was my setup was definitely on a shoestring. So I wasn't rocking no big halls like they were. I come to your house party. Yeah, I was more like a house party DJ back in the day coming up. But yeah. Not too many name brands I could throw out there on my stuff, on my set, but my equipment. But yeah, hanging around with Alex and Dave and the control crew, they had the real stuff going on. Yeah.
Talk a bit about paying dues to get your name out there and get known around the city.
Say what now?
Paying dues, house parties, shows. What were you doing out there to get your name known?
Yeah, just I mean my personal name, just hanging with them. I had some business cards, like I said. I was doing still doing the mixtape service. So my name was the Blaster. And I got this name because I had a boombox, and I took it to summer camp. And this was around the 14, 15, 16-year-old years. And man, as LL would say later on, I kicked the volume way past 10. So I think some old lady was walking by or something, and she said, "Man, you blasting that music." There it was. It stuck. So the Blaster, I was the Blaster. I had my business cards, and we didn't have websites and all that back then. But if I had a website, I'd have been all over the place. But yeah, I just had the business cards, man. And my logo was crazy. It was a Playboy bunny with the ears pulled back, and he had on headphones. So man, that if that's out there, if any of you have that, that's probably worth about $2 or $3. The first business card for your partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting into
So that's how I was getting my name out, man. I was just passing out business cards to anybody that was having house parties and let me come over and rock.
Right. What time frame is this about?
In years, that's probably about 1984. When the Blaster stuff was going down. No, my bad. Before then, that was probably 81. 81. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere in there, 81 or 82. My bad.
Are you seeing the emergence Too Short around this time?
Short. Man, when I start hearing Short, I forget the year, man, but yeah, Short was big in the Bay. I mean, you couldn't. Yes, he was everywhere. Freaky Tales. All those what we call those party records, man, because it was so long. We wouldn't really call them rap records or records. It was a party record. So I mean, I'm not sure on the length of time on Freaky Tales, but some of those tracks my man had, they were long, man. They was up there with Super Rhymes and people like that or Sugar Hill Gang. Somebody could rap for 15 minutes or something like that. But yeah, Short was definitely in the town, and he was famous. Yeah. You drop that name, it's like say Short's gonna be somewhere, and everybody would flock there. Yes, for sure.